How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Cincinnati Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. The phone is ringing. 4 teams now showing interest, requesting interviews for Brian Callahan being their next head coach. And you understand what's happening here. As Bengals fans, Brian Callahan's caught a lot of heat since being with the Bengals. But Joe Burrow goes down, Jake Browning comes in, and the Bengals offense doesn't feel like it loses much of a beat. And you look back and say, what's happening here? You gotta look at the inner workings. Brian Callahan making things happen. Brian Callahan now interesting a lot of teams. Still, as a Bengals fan, I'm still kind of thinking like, hey, take him. Take him, please. Go ahead. That's fine. This is a difficult situation. I say it's a difficult situation because as fans, it's easy to nitpick. It's also easy to over-infatuate a guy too. Like Bill Belichick's a prime example, where he's like the greatest coach of all time, but he has not been successful since Tom Brady left. He just hasn't. He knew how to win with the pieces that he had when he had them. I think that's an interesting perspective of some coaches. I think you look at Callahan and say, hey, he might be able to find ways to win games with less. But can he get the most out of his players when he has the best? And that was what Bill Belichick did, no question about it. He brought Tom Brady over there and he won championships. The best coaches can do that. And that's where I think some of the confluence comes with Brian Callahan. Because, he's finding ways to score points, win games with a backup quarterback because of the scheme they're setting up, the short pass, the quick pass game. But when you have a horse like Joe Burrow, when you have a franchise quarterback, likely future Hall of Famer if he stays healthy, Joe Burrow, you don't just design the short, quick pass game. You got to find ways to open things up downfield. You got to find ways to scheme some more complex things into the playbook because Joe Burrow's just got that freaking magnificently huge brain that can pick apart teams if you just give him the tools. Throw anything you want at him to confuse these opposing teams, and he's going to do it. And I think that's where a lot of us as Bengals fans kind of had issues throughout the season when you see other teams' coaches finding ways to scheme open their best players, finding ways to get the ball deep down the field, finding ways just drawing up some creativity, allowing Joe Burrow, again, the freedom. He's got the freedom, but allowing him almost all the freedom, really, to, do what he's got to do here. And again, it's always important here as a Bengals fan to realize, Zach Taylor's, we're going to go back to the Chiefs reference here. Zach Taylor doing play calling. Andy Reid does a play calling. And this is why it's a difficult situation to kind of interpret. It's as a fan, it's like take him, don't take him. We can take a side. At the end of the day, we don't know fully how much Brian Callahan is affecting this offense because we've seen Eric Bieniemy, leave Kansas City because teams they didn't believe in this guy. They said, hey, you got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. It's easy to offensive coordinate over there. Anybody could do it. Anybody can do it. And then you watch what he did in Washington, and he turned that with a backup quarterback, really, with that team, and found ways to move that football up and down. I mean, what he did in Washington this season was impressive. Meanwhile, Kansas City, everybody talking and whispers going around like, oh, Kansas City, finally the regression's catching them. Finally losing these players is catching them. Is it a coincidence, or was Bieniemy just that good of a coach and he was very, very underrated? And, that was by the league. That's why you see a lot of people say, well, Bengals fans hate Callahan, but there's 4 teams that want to be a head coach. But that doesn't necessarily mean, other teams are right, just like the, fans aren't always right. The other teams aren't always right either. We don't really know. He could go into a head coaching job and plop. He could go to a head coaching job and flourish. I hope he does great. I do. You always want to see guys come out of the organization, come off the team, and be successful elsewhere as well. Unless they do you dirty, that's like, well, you do what you gotta do. But it was going back to the whole play calling thing. It's, Zach Taylor is calling up plays. But, we can imagine for the most part, a lot of these offensive coordinators still have a lot of say and a lot of preparation for these games. And they may or may not be sending, a big chunk of that playbook to the head coach for, here's the play sheet, here's what's running. Callahan drawing a lot of those up. We get another offensive coordinator, maybe we see some new ideas, some new schemes. And I think it's really good for the Bengals. I do. Zach Taylor's not going anywhere. Zach Taylor's proven he's a leader. He's proven, he's got the ability to coach a championship team, and he's just not going to leave. But if you can change a couple of the guys underneath him, especially on the offensive side, maybe the Bengals see some more consistency. Because I think Taylor, all in all, he since we've been here, we got to remember the Marvin Lewis conservative era. Since he's been here, he's showed a lot of confidence and a lot of aggressiveness on offense. The question is can we bring in some new play calling? Can we bring in some new game playing from the offensive coordinator position and see this Bengals offense flourish more? We'll see. Time will only tell. We could see it regress. You never really know in this situation. It's always a sticky one. Love y'all's thoughts. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.